Hey, welcome in to Sim and I Podcast. Eric, Travis, and Michael. And what a day it is to be alive. And talking about a film called Far and Away from 1992, directed by Ron Howard, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman and that one guy from that thing, Dharma and Greg guy, Thomas Gibson. That guy's in this. And we'll talk about that in a little while.
Not who he was.
That's him. There he is. All right. He had a couple moments in life. But we'll talk about that in the meaty part of our show. Of course, you can email the show, cinemaandipod@gmail.com. And we love being in business with all of you, although we're not a business. We're just a podcast, right, Travis?
We make no money from doing this.
I think we have a net loss.
I've lost money. Oh, yeah. I've lost like $500.
Yeah.
Who do I send this invoice to? You?
They've got to be able to write this off, a podcast, Maybe we can make this an LLC. We go legit. I don't know. So. But, big move here. We got to go up to Eric first because congratulations, Eric. Freedom! Woo! Summertime and the living's easy.
They say that most teachers that quit the profession last 5 years. This is year 4.
I'm literally that guy. 5 years.
You are.
4.5.
It was rough. I mean, it was rough, but I'm gonna press on.
Well, that's wonderful. Travis, a couple more weeks, though.
Couple more weeks for me. It was graduation today, so I had a pretty easy day. I was just like security at a graduation ceremony in a pretty nice venue. And, I yelled at someone for blasting a confetti cannon. That's who I am now. I'm the teacher that yells at people for blasting confetti. We get fined. We get fined by the venue. The school does if they got to clean up a bunch of stuff like that. So can't have it. Oh, so that's the guy I've become. I went through
a Law and Order.
Yeah, I went through a grenade-colored water balloon filled with mustard at some stranger's car on my last day of school. I'm still paying for that karmically.
I remember when that adult said to you, "We could get fined," and you laughed at him.
I don't remember that, but I guess it's come about 360.
Wow, we've talked about this before, but those last days of school where anarchy reigns is so cool. I love it. I mean, I remember how, I'm not exaggerating, I can think of it in my mind right now. The last day of junior year, all three of us were in the same grade, 1997, June 97, and it was just a madhouse of chaos. People busting out those doors, going ape shit, and taking it to the streets of Heartland, Michigan. It was pretty buck wild, and people are like, "Well, hey, it's the last day of school. That's how it goes."
It's over because I teach outside of Gary, and there was a straight up SWAT team. Like the last team, the professional, that team was at my school. No one did shit. They kept their mouths shut. They said thank you, and they walked on to their future.
That's sad. Please don't shoot me while I accept my diploma.
Because, Gary already gets a bad rap for being a bleak place. That disappoints me. I'm sorry. It does. But I'm not going to blame Gary or the city or anybody who lives in it. I will blame us for anything we do wrong here. And you can email the show at cinema9pod@gmail.com. And in the meantime, we can dive into the quarantine viewing picks. Travis, you have control of the board.
I actually watched some stuff, a couple movies. But first, I would like to start by saying that the season finale for season 3 for Hacks was awesome. 3 seasons that just get better and better. There's no dip in quality on this show. And I was really happy with the third season.
Never seen it. You talk about it, but I've never seen it. I know what it is. I see it on the Max. I never actually click on it though.
It's great. It's really, really good. Strongly recommend. Especially, if you're interested in the state of comedy and how it struggles with what it used to be and what it's becoming in terms of what's appropriate and what's not. They're just constantly.
That's what it's about?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's constant. The premise of the show, the premise of the show in short is that Jean Smart is 70 years old. She is a I don't know what you like a classic comedian. She had been huge in the 70s, huge in the 80s, and kind of dipped off the last 10 years or so. And then Hannah Einbinder plays Anna or Ava, who she is a 30-year-old, not quite. She's 28, late 20s, and she's totally woke and all that kind of stuff. And they end up getting thrust together and working together, and it's just about their relationship. It's not I don't know. It's just they just cover a lot of ground, but it's really, really watchable. It's very big.
Clash of the Generations. That's the classic trope. I'm in.
Yeah, but it's not so much a clash because they get along, but even though they don't necessarily see in the same way all the time. It's really, really good. I really strongly recommend it. As
well, you've sold me officially. You truly have.
It's good. I revisited The Gray Man, which I really, really liked the first time I watched it a couple of years ago, and this second time watching it, I was like, yeah,
Gray Man.
Okay. Gray Man.
Oh.
Good
yeah, see, it's forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. It had its moments in terms of action sequences, but it really didn't hold up very well. And then I went to the theater.
Was that the Russo brothers?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was the Russo brothers.
So Cherry and Gray Man, they did their best, but
there's a moment in, this is not a real spoiler, it's 2 years old anyways. There's a moment in The Gray Man where a grenade is about to go off by Chris Evans' character, and he yells, "You douche!"
I have to find that
kind of says everything.
Yeah, I'll find that. Get on that.
Yeah, I made it to the theaters, and I am. I made it to the theaters. I am so sad that Furiosa is bombing. It's got this is the worst Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. This is the worst Memorial Day weekend since like '95 or something. And Furiosa is bombing, and it should not be. It was fucking awesome. If you like Fury Road, I mean, is it as good as Fury Road? No, I wouldn't say that it's as good as Fury Road, but I mean, it is incredible. It's a lot of fun. The 2.5 hours blows by. I'm totally invested in this movie. I might see it again in theaters. It was a lot of fun. Man. I mean, if you like Fury Road, you got to see this. And I recommend seeing it in theaters, especially if it's bombing, it's probably gonna get yanked out of theaters pretty quickly. So
I don't get it, Travis. Who do you point the finger at? Because like Garfield and Furiosa, that was Memorial Day weekend 2024, and it didn't really matter what used to be playing back in the day. It would make 200 mil easily. What's going on here?
Oh, it's the streamers. I mean, it's the streamers and a decline in decorum in the movie theater, and plus people's at-home cinemas. And plus people's at-home cinemas. All these things combined, I think you could watch a movie at home and have a really good setup and wait maybe 6 weeks after it's in theaters. Or you can go to the movie theater and, pay $40-$50 if it's the two of you. And which I love the theaters. Go ahead.
This is a big-time movie that already has a track record from the previous effort. Right. And
9
usually
years ago.
that... Okay, yeah, but 9 years ago, but still,
how
still
can
think
Oppenheimer make $1 billion and then
That's what I'm
Furiosa
thinking.
doesn't
I know
win bombs?
The Barbenheimer experience combined together last summer to make a unique event that is kind of out of the norm now of cinema. I do admit that.
There was no Garfield Furiosa thing going on.
You're right. That's
Garfiosa.
Garfield's driving one of those trucks. Garfield's got fucking S&M bondage on. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Garfiosa. That's an easy bill.
Save this movie. #Garfiosa. Lock you in there. Beautiful genius. We got the Snyder cut out. We can do this. But I don't disagree with what you said there, Travis. Either. You're right. Those variables are in play, and the movies are shitting their pants this year more than ever. But we also had the writer's strike. I don't know. Oh, all the strikes. I mean, we had a shitload of strikes.
All the more reason why people should be thirsty for a new big movie.
But that also might have been like, fuck it, too. I don't know. I'm with you, but there's something else here that just sometimes bad shit happens too. It's just fucking weird. I don't know.
At any rate, it's a fucking great movie. Definitely see it.
It looks great.
Fury Road.
Yeah. Shit.
Because it doesn't have Charlize Theron. I mean, it's still everything else. Everything else looks awesome. It's George Miller. He's the man.
Yeah. Enough said.
Yeah, and I walked out of there going, man, I hope he's got enough life in him to get one more of these movies out. And now, there probably won't be.
Fuck. This is stunning news to me. Yeah.
It's a bummer. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you went, though. Good for you.
Yeah, man.
Me. I did my part.
We failed the movie theater. You did your part. We're losers.
I went to a movie theater that was right next door to a prison. It was called Bel Air Luxury Cinema on 8 Mile in East Detroit.
Huh. What's the prison?
I didn't notice. But
you didn't catch that name?
Me and Corey were sitting in the parking lot. We're staring at it for a while. I'm like, is that a school or a prison? And he's like, that's definitely a prison. I'm like, yeah, it's a prison. The fencing goes inward.
That's hilarious.
This is the one theater where you don't want to shush the guy next to you. It might be an escaped convict.
There was no one in it. There was no one next. It was me and our two friends, Corey and Laskowski, and we were at the end of the movie. It turned out there was like 2 other people in the far back, another couple, but that was it. And this was like 6 p.m. on a Saturday on Memorial Day weekend. I thought we were going to be
tragic.
Remember back in the day with like if you missed it in theaters, you had to wait like half a year to be able to see it on home video.
Yeah, exactly.
Or longer.
I think that's a fucking year. Of it.
Remember Batman '89? It was like a year almost. It was crazy.
Dude, November 17th, 1989. That's when the VHS hit. Trust me.
Oh, really? Oh, that was much shorter.
Never forget.
Wow.
It felt like a year and a half to us, though, when we were 9 years old.
That might have been where the
really
change
did.
started to happen. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, what else you watched, Travis?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Ended with the big one. Big guns. Big gun! Number
Really good.
one.
It was really, really good. You used to sing in the band, didn't you?
I don't know. Actually, Laskowski does AC/DC better than anybody. So
Yeah, dude. You think Jack Slater's in the passenger seat.
What'd you watch, Eric?
Dead Calm from 1989. Philip Noyce film, who directed Patriot Games. This is a fantastic thriller starring Nicole Kidman, Sam Neill, and Billy Zane. If you haven't seen it, it is really fucking good. It's like 89 minutes. You what? You don't know this film?
I saw it.
I know the title. I never saw it.
Good.
Though. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I had to rent it.
Oh boy, here we go.
Mike, I laughed out loud, and Angie's like, "What the hell are you laughing at?" Because I turned on a civil action, and I'm like, "Damn, I haven't seen a civil action." I believe I saw this at the theaters, and this is pre water trial. This is pre-contaminated water trial, pre Aaron Brockovich. This is pre great benefit, man.
Oh,
Wait, no, this is post great benefit. I was laughing.
Civil
at
Action's 98.
Rainmaker was 97. That's water.
Yeah.
Civil Action is 99. That's water contamination. And Aaron Brockovich is 2000.
Great
that's water
benefit.
contamination. Every single goddamn Hollywood trial, fucking water's contaminated. Yep. Get that former employee out there, this time played by James Gandolfini, to tell the real story about them dumping drums in the river. It's fun. It's fun.
That face, that John Voight face from Rainmaker.
Yep.
Just think
John Voight's great benefit face.
Bruiser
fun.
Stone's coming over.
Like, dude, you ever like watch opening credits and they just keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you with these gigantic names? It was Bill Macy, John Lithgow, James Gandolfini. It was incredible. And the acting is so much fun that, I don't know, kind of dug the movie.
Never saw it. I always mix it up with Primary Colors too. I don't know why.
Yeah, that year it was like, okay. Dark Side of the Ring rolls on, and it never disappoints. Last night, it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake with an excellent dramatization of him getting knocked in the face with a speedboat. It
Terrible.
never fails.
That is so horrific what happened to him. That is brutal, man. Fuck.
He's fine now, and it's a lot.
Well, he's
of
fine
fun.
now, but it was hardcore. I mean, getting
I
smashed
can't
in the
wait,
face.
dude. If
in the head.
they're keeping it going, but if they ever wrap up this series finale, we're gonna do the big Vince McMahon trial of the millennium, and just tie everything down and shut down the legacy. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, Bill Simmons is still working on the Vince McMahon documentary. It's still this has been going on for
Come on now.
Yeah, this has been going.
It's over. Yeah,
when
Bradley Cooper had signed on, like it was a done deal. Now it's over because there's so much tainted tarnish on this property. No one's gonna buy a ticket.
Well, if it's a documentary though, it's not a drama as far as I knew.
It was going to be a major motion picture with Bradley Cooper producing, and they were trying to figure out who would play Vince McMahon. It's going to be a huge cradle to grave story.
Oh shit! Okay, well,
Whoops!
I stand corrected. Whoopsie!
And that's it, man. I've been trying to see that Jim Henson documentary on Disney Plus.
Ooh!
Time got away from me.
Pneumonia. Watch out, guys. I've been terrified of pneumonia ever since that happened in 1990. I'm like, oh my god, Jim Henson died of pneumonia and he was 50. Fuck.
Yep.
It's no joke. I remember I had it once. It was the same time Hillary. It was the same time Hillary Clinton had it in 2016 when she was campaigning. And everyone was like, "Oh, she's so weak," and I'm like on the couch, like dying. I'm like, "How is she doing this?" Well, she has fucking pneumonia. I can barely get across the bedroom.
Isn't that how Bernie Mac went too?
I'm not sure. I remember it's.
I think he did.
Levi Ferris, who we went to high school with, took him. He was very young.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was in his early 20s, like 20 years old.
Levi Ferris is dead?
I'm sorry, not Levi, his brother.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
I'm blinking at Elijah.
I don't know.
No, I don't think it was Elijah. Was it?
It's not Levi. Levi's still alive. Big and tall.
Ben. It was Ben.
Ben.
Yeah. Sorry, Ferris family.
They're
Mike
big
Seaver
fans of
crack.
ours. Email the show, Ferris family, cinemanipod@gmail.com. Let us know how we fucked up your life.
He was a nice guy.
He was. Levi Ferris exploded an apple on my chest by throwing it as hard as possible from 5 feet away. I'd never seen that in my life.
Completely unprovoked. You did nothing whatsoever to goad him into that.
I certainly did, and I still am just amazed that it didn't hurt. It just exploded on my chest. Fascinating.
It was like applesauce.
It was crazy.
So hard. I was standing there.
There's a drop.
There. Yeah.
Exploded on his chest. Lock it in.
Yeah, it's just, I guess apples aren't as dense as I thought. Well, it depends on the apple. Who knows?
And the person throwing it, Levi was built like the Incredible Hulk.
He was. He also was a baseball pitcher, so that made it all the more terrifying. But it didn't hurt. I swear it didn't. If it hurt, I would tell you now. I would.
I believe you.
Thank you. Don't give up on me, Dad. All right. So for me, oh shit! Fucking great movie, and I'm so disappointed it took as long as it did for me to watch American Fiction. I fucking love that movie.
It's great, right?
So fucking good. So good.
Yeah.
A perfect movie for our times with no... It says everything about our lives, our mainstream America today, being black in America, people taking on people's, pain and suffering, white people being Karens and going beyond that, but being woke, but not being woke. It's just a great movie. And there's all this other shit I didn't even mention. This is a deep-ass film.
Incredibly complex. Maybe the best film of last year.
I agree. I absolutely agree, Travis.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it showed up. I got to watch it for free on Amazon or whatever, and I'm really glad I did. Me and Leanne watched it, and we loved it. And Sterling K. Brown, given a different performance, sometimes he gets a lot of these roles where he's very
stuffy and
not this one.
No, he's flying loose in this one. Nominated for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor for it too, and rightfully so.
Oh, good. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And let's give credit to Jeffrey Wright. I feel like he's just perennially underrated. He's always people respect him, and he's a great actor with a lot of experience, but he has such a history of work that is elite. It's really good, and he's one of the best actors of this century, I would argue.
Yeah, and that Jeremy Saulnier movie, what's it called? Into the Dark or something like that, is the only other movie I can think of that he starred in. That he was like the main character in.
Yeah, you're right. He does a ton of supporting work. Syriana is a huge story with a ton of different people in it. Oh,
okay.
Broken Flowers? I don't know.
That was more Bill.
There's something calming about Jeffrey Wright's voice too. I don't know. It makes me feel at peace. But great. American Fiction, couldn't recommend it more. If you haven't seen
that opening monologue alone, it's worth seeing for that opening fucking monologue.
Best Gordon, dude. Give me a Commissioner Gordon the series taking place at SCPD.
Yeah, I hope to see him in the Penguin series.
Oh,
God, that trailer was so good.
I'm excited.
I don't know why this is funny, but I watched The Wizard of Oz.
Sure. Why is this funny?
I don't know.
Were you laughing at the asbestos snow? That is funny.
Yes! I told Leanne, I said, hey, guess what? That's asbestos when it started falling. I waited for that moment because I read the trivia point, and I couldn't wait to reveal it to her and ruin her day. So
I feel like this was Leanne's call to watch.
It actually was not. She was trying to work, and I truly put it on by myself. And she's like, what are you doing watching this? She was kind of taken aback. But I don't know.
Remember Tigerland? It's my turn. We're going with Wizard of Oz.
I gotta say, man, it's 1939 and it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
it's an impressive effort. I know, even the tornadoes and stuff in the background. I know we're looking at projections and stuff, but it doesn't look
awesome.
Terrible. It doesn't. It's just so sad what happened to Garland. That's the sad part about it. So.
It was like the 6th version of that book on film and the last one, which says
yeah, that's right, because the intro has for 40 years people have fallen in love with the story, and this is the one that kind of sealed it. Yeah,
you know the fun fact about me. I tell this to everybody I know, complete strangers.
That
my great grandma Annabelle, her brother Jack, left the family farm in Kentucky to Hollywood because he loved movies and became a world-renowned makeup artist. Did all the makeup on Wizard of Oz. Fucked up Buddy Ibsen. Did all the bad stuff, but also the great stuff, and moved on. His son created the ears for Spock. It's a huge legacy that I should try to cash in on.
Your relative burned Buddy Ibsen's face.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Put them all through hell.
He was a racist.
Oh,
was he?
Okay.
Ibsen.
In 1939, he was a racist. Or
Ibsen.
Not unusual. Not unusual.
I am surprised by this.
I'm actually no.
No, not Jack Dawn. Buddy Ebsen. Let's move on.
Oh, right. Oh, Buddy. Okay. Right. Well, what a legacy. That's cool, man. Wow, I did not know that. I swear I've never heard that. So that's cool.
He said it on the show before.
Yeah, well, it didn't stick. So. But now it will stick because we're taking
Fast
this
forward
moment.
on your own episode?
It's not beyond me. It's not beyond me. I will say. I actually thought about this week while I was driving because every day I drive long roads.
Who's going to drive you home?
Me. It's always me. I prefer to be the driver than the passenger, though. I do admit that. But I was thinking about how the fast forwarding thing really had something to do with watching movies on my laptop. And because I haven't done it as much since I stopped watching movies straight. I'd be sitting at my desk in my Livonia house, laptop right in front of me, projected to the big screen, and I could just fast forward real quickly. And I haven't done it as much. I don't know. It's just a theory. So.
Something to that.
And lastly, I watched, I don't know why I did, but I guess I saw the first one, so I'm like, oh, shit, it's here. I watched Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. So, whatever.
Yeah. That's whatever.
Despite Travis's scathing review last week.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to see it. It wasn't something I was kind of half in, half out. So, and that's fine because there's actually some funny lines, but it's a terrible movie. So
that's over though. It's Snyderverse it's the nail in the coffin.
That was
put it to bed.
That was it. 15
movies apparently done.
Kinda
over.
sad.
The DCEU is closed, or at least that one. Well, that one is.
I mean, especially when you look at all the things already coming down the pike for DC. There's a lot of things to be excited about. The Monster Commandos, whatever it's called, cartoon, and then the new Superman looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good. What else? You don't think so?
Chris Isaac as Superman?
What?
No.
No,
I don't want to be Superman.
No, I'm pumped.
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah. Sounds like fun. I'll be there.
I don't. And then Damon Lindelof is going to do the Green Lantern series, which he did a great job with the Watchmen TV show. So I'm excited for that.
Do I have this correct? There's the Green Lantern, there's the Green Hornet,
yes,
and there's also the Green Arrow. These are all three characters in the world, right?
Green Hornet. I don't even know if that's DC.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these all exist, right?
Yeah, but Green Arrow and Green Lantern are both in DC, which
I agree. Yeah, Green Hornet was just a TV show from the 60s, right? Like, or maybe it was a comic. I don't know.
I think there was a comic or like a radio show or both.
Bruce Lee.
I don't know.
Bruce Lee was on it. That's all.
Bruce
I know.
Lee was Kato. Yeah, that's all I know.
Anyways, who gives a shit?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, stocks, bonds, Dow Jones. Alrighty, we're going to focus now on our main event. That was our Quarantine Viewing Pick section. If you have some movies you'd like to suggest or challenge anything that you've heard, send them to iPod@gmail.com. Far and away, a sweeping saga of the American dream from one continent to another. Directed by Ron Howard, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, and that guy from The Great Outdoors, who's the bartender, who has that guy who's 100 years old, all dressed up, but dies. Yeah, that guy over there. So,
Is that Robert Prosky?
Yeah.
Yes.
Her dad. Yeah.
Come on, man.
The great Robert Prosky. He was in everything in the 80s and 90s. That guy was like
Thief.
Yeah, he was
Last
in everything.
Action Hero. Are you, Mike? Come on now.
Last Action. Yep. I love him. I don't not love him. I just love fucking around. But so. I picked this movie? Shit.
You did.
I never saw it. That's why I picked it.
We won't forget.
That's it. Next? Who's next?
I saw it when it came out, and that's probably why I thought it was like a 3.5 hour movie, because I was like 12 when I watched this 2 hour and 10 minute movie that is indeed sweeping in its scope and what's going on in terms of timeline here. So, and I remember I watched it like at my uncle's, and my uncle had like, remember in the 80s there were those projection TVs where they're like really huge, and they had that thing that came out that like had like a red, green, and like yellow or blue like circle light on it. And
sure.
You know what I mean? I was like super rich people TV. So that's where I watched that movie. I remember being really impressed by it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eric?
I remember the sweeping trailer. Sweeping. Strap in. We're going to say sweeping a lot here. I remember the sweeping trailer. And had no interest as a child, teen, adult, and 43-year-old man. But I watched it today. That's for damn sure.
Oh, today.
Yeah.
You just watched it today.
You got it in. You got it done.
Speed watch just before the show. So you walked in with a really open mind, and you weren't feeling rushed at all in any way.
He's fresh. He's fresh, though. fresh as could be.
Yeah, I wrapped up my report cards and said, I'm sorry, I got to go. I know there's a lot to do.
I'm sorry, I got to go.
But I got to watch Far and Away.
Hey, Hey, don't forget Jared Harris is in this for a minute too.
Yeah, young Jared Harris.
That's
right.
Apparently,
Brendan Gleeson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What?
The cop. Yeah, Brendan Gleeson as the cop when they're looking for
I should have known.
the daughter when they come to America. That's him. I was like, shit, it does not look like him, but I do see him barely.
Yeah, I think that's the earliest thing I've seen.
Who's Irish? Who's Irish? Just get him in here. Put him in the. Who cares? Don't even cast them. If they're Irish, get them in here.
Who's Irish? About 2 people in this movie. That's who's Irish.
Oh,
there
shit.
it is.
Here we go. Strap in.
All right, then. Well, and by the way, I do remember the commercials back in 92 when I was 12. Yes, it was always like, there was people running in open fields far and away. And I'm like, what is this? What is this movie? I don't get it.
John Williams.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it's John Williams. That's true. What's the rating on the son of a bitch? Far and away on the IMDb rating.
Saw it.
Saw it.
Okay. Well, Travis, you want to?
My guess.
7.0.
I'm going to say 6.1.
Actual retail price 6.6.
Oh,
right,
split the difference basically. Okay. Well, shit. I guess I'm a little surprised. As far as the Rotten Tomato version, 50% splat from the critics, 50, and then 62 from the audience. Technically, a full, delicious Wolverine open mouth bucket of popcorn, which was hilarious.
With drizzled blood butter.
As far as the critical reviews back in the day, long ago, boy, who was back in the day watching this movie? You, Peter Travers. Peter Travers, once upon a time, Rolling Stone said, even at its hokiest, Far and Away is never less than heartfelt. He loves it.
All right.
That's mildly disappointing, Peter.
Is it though?
Roger Ebert, back in the day. Here you go. It's depressing that such a lavish and expensive production starring an important actor like Tom Cruise could be devoted to such a shallow story.
Wow. Heaps.
Yeah,
Coming hot on Far and Away.
Roger.
Fuck is Brian Orndorff? Paul Orndorff's son? Mr. Wonderful?
Brian Orndorff.
Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly said, Far and Away looks like an epic. It sure does. But it lacks flavor and texture. Maybe. It's so pre-digested, there's nothing left to chew on. Huh. I like that review. That makes sense to me.
I don't hate it as far as a review.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Lastly, Dolores Barclay from the Associated Press. We've never heard of this. Could be a brand new first-time critic on episode 193. Howard has cast 2 actors, Cruise and Nicole Kidman, that is true, who simply do not have the scope or abilities to carry an epic, and he does not have a strong enough support team to fill in the gaps. And I think this goes to what you said, Travis. Yes, there's 2 Irish people maybe in the cast, but the bigger picture is there's some people I like, but this cast is pretty weak, I would say. The casting is poor. Not just the 2 leads, all the way around.
Well, I mean, we talked about Jared Harris and Brendan Gleeson already. These are 2 really great
Cole Meany, Miles O'Brien himself.
Cole Meany, another one.
Doesn't get more Irish than that.
Robert
Right,
Prosky's
but we're talking like 2
actor.
second guys, I guess. I mean, in like the main.
Cole Meany's one of the main characters. I mean, he's like 4th, 5th, I would say, in
fantastic.
terms of. And I think he does strong work. I think Robert Prosky is fine.
Cole Meany's excellent, by the way. I want to clear that for the record.
I'm sorry. All of Cole Meany's scenes are excellent. All of Robert Prosky's scenes are excellent. All of Jared Harris' scenes are excellent.
Yeah.
But
Robert Prosky's supposed to be an
we got an elephant in the room that doesn't go away until the first, for a long time, if it ever goes away. That's Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise. I'll die on that hill. Everything he does, I love, except Night and Day.
Fuck him.
But when you immediately from the first shot, that's why I texted you guys. From the first shot, and he's rolling down the hill with his brother. I'm not buying it. And this is just a studio mandated. We got to get a big name. Like who do you got, Ron Howard? Liam Neeson? No. Who else you got? Aiden Quinn? No. Who else you got? Daniel Day-Lewis? No. We need a star. Fuck. Tom Cruise? Yes. Get him in here right now and get him the Irish Brogue. It just resonates for the entire runtime that while he's doing his best, and I actually think he does a really good job. It just does. The audience they're not going to get over it.
Get the fuck out of
After
here.
all of that, you just mutter a parenthetical. I actually think he does a really good job.
it's personally. I'm not saying it's the right call. I'm just saying for me, the guy does his best, and I enjoyed it. But, I mean, it's just not the right call.
I was ready to hate that Irish accent, and it wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
There you go.
It wasn't terrible. I agree. But did you notice he was trying to do this whispering thing? I felt like he did it a lot to try to hide it. To like, oh, well, you can't really hear. He's kind of, is that Irish? He did it more than once. He did at least 10 times in this movie. I guarantee you. Go back and watch it.
Whatever works. It was more convincing than Nicole Kidman's.
Oh, what is she? See, this is what I'm talking about. That family. So with the landlords that are clueless about the Christies, they're clueless about what the hell's going on in their properties. Classic landlord, totally checked out. Somebody else is running the day-to-day. They don't have a clue. But is this family Irish or British? I mean, I can't tell from the family. I don't know.
Yeah, there is something missing in this movie, which is like the British influence. Like I was wondering that too. I'm like, well, where are their accent seems different a little bit too. Like maybe they're British, or maybe the manager guy who you mentioned was on
Thomas Gibson.
Yeah,
Greg and Dharma, Finest Hour.
This is another early 90s studio being like, audiences won't get it. Like they most certainly would have been British living in Ireland, like highfalutin British people, but they're like, people will be confused, let's just make everybody Irish.
I don't think so though, because at the same time, like this movie is about the Oklahoma land run of 1893, which is not a super, like, you talk about the Homestead Act, you talk about that kind of stuff. People know what you're talking about generally, but I am a historian of that era, and I don't really remember this. I did get a big laugh out of the part when the guy in the boat's like, "Oh, you're going into Oklahoma Territory, the finest land for grazing." I'm like, "Oh boy, that's funny."
I know. I immediately thought of the Dust Bowl. I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
There's a reason why this was like the last land to get filled in by white people, because it was what they wanted the least.
Yeah, did you notice when the land run goes down? This is the final set piece of the film. They do one quick shot of a couple of Native Americans just standing there, bummed out. Maybe 2 seconds.
Well, so the Cherokee did sell the land, probably not for what it was worth.
I
don't know. No, they did.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they were muscled into doing it.
No, it's Benjamin Harrison. He was like, we fucking won the Indian War. These are the enemies. Let's just take it all over. Fuck Congress, what they said in the 1820s. This is our land. Have at it.
Yeah, he was one of the least good presidents that gets kind of overlooked pretty often, Harrison.
But the land, the land run is real though. It's pretty wild. I mean, that part that might be for me like, okay, it's a great set piece of action. So many extras, so much involved in that part. I give a lot of credit to pulling that off. I wish the rest of the movie was as good as that part.
But for it to be like, it is the climax of the movie, right? The last half hour of the movie is the land run. You have a race. And like, they still didn't, to get to the end before we get to the rest of it, they still didn't quite know what to do with the end, because they have Tom win. Or Joseph, they have him win, and he's about to stick it in the ground. He's just kind of like, no, I'm not going to stick it in the ground. Actually, I'm gonna like change my mind at the last minute, and because you're not. They had to concoct this whole thing with the death, like the soul.
The double death. The double death callback is so stupid.
Oh my god.
The daddy double death callback. Yeah.
So daddy gotcha callback death.
So they had to like do all this because somehow just having like a race and like sticking a flag in the ground wasn't climactic enough. They needed to have this fake death and this battle, this fight, and
it's not even like, my pulse is still going. It's like, it seems like he's perfectly fine and was joking the entire time.
I'm like, oh wow, they're gonna kill Tom Cruise at the end of this. Impressive. No,
neither him nor his dad lose a shade of color. They're just completely flushed.
No. Just a quick power nap of death. You return. It's all good. I mean let's go back to the rest of the movie. This fucking thing between them two sucks. Yes, Cole Meany's awesome. His scenes are awesome. Hell, even the guy who plays Bork, that guy, those guys are dicks, and it's expected they're dicks. And the setup of the way the brothel looks, that area, it's well done in terms of set design and all the costumes and shit. That is good. But this dynamic between Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman of this will they, won't they, that gets dragged out to such extreme measures, it's not entertaining for me. I'm not invested. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, even one of the characters is like, "Why don't you just shag already and get it over with?"
Yes, yeah. The madam finally says, "For the love of Christ, clearly she's not your sister." And I don't know, man. And Nicole this is a minor detail, but her hair looks so great still. Fuck that shit. It wouldn't look great like that. So I bet she demanded, "I'll do everything else you want, but my hair stays true."
I need my Days of Thunder's curls. Oh fuck! Which reminds me, I watched Shampoo too, where Warren Beatty plays a hairdresser,
love
and I
Shampoo.
liked it, and I fucking liked it. Hal Ashby. I liked all that. I liked the interplay between the in that first hour between the two. It was classic, like Kate Hepburn, Clark Gable. I liked all of it. I don't know what to tell you right now.
It was so long and drawn out.
I was kind of in between, I guess. I was fine with it for the most part. There were moments where I'm like, why do they pretend they don't like each other again? Like,
Yeah, why does it have to go this far?
Class.
But at this point, like, she's already ran away, and like, like it takes them like finally
stubbornness,
like, breaking into someone's house and like almost dying and all that shit for them to finally.
If it was easy for them to like it, then it wouldn't be interesting. There was conflict there. I get it.
No, I agree, but I mean, I think the movie's problem is that so much more of it is the most interesting part to me is the pugilism bit. The whole like the boxing, all that stuff is way more interesting to me.
Tom Cruise kicking everybody's ass.
It looked good.
Night long.
I loved all those scenes.
I thought it looked good too. So obviously Tom Cruise's pugilism style was not completely true to life. There was a lot more twists and turns that would have been involved. But there's a lot about this movie that they get right. There's some things. I'm like, a duel in 1892. I don't think so. Not between gentlemen. But there's some things. But mostly, like, you got stuff like the pugilism, like this classic kind of bar brawl stuff that was happening there, and this casual reference to the machine that Mike Kelly works. Oh, we're going to get you a job, you vote. The guy on the stilts walking around lighting the gas lamps, I fucking loved that. I'm like, yes, I've never seen that. I don't think in any other fucking movie, but that's totally what they did. There's a lot of things about this movie that I think they get right, and yeah, that whole central, like the center of the movie. Around these set pieces that you were talking about, Eric, I think is when it's its strongest. Both the fighting and the tension between Joseph and whatever the fuck her name's. Shannon Christie.
Shannon.
Oh, fucking hell. By the way, did you guys, just like every Ron Howard movie, you got to find Clint Howard and Rance Howard. Yeah. Did you find both?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Very good.
When she calls Clint Howard a fraction of a man,
that's great.
That was a fucking great line. I'm like, I'm stealing that. I'm gonna call someone a fraction of a man.
I'm stealing this.
Yeah.
Well, look, man. Yeah, I know that there's stubbornness, but this woman wanted to be a modern woman. That's what she says. She's all backed up when she's back at home in the main homeland because she can't be a modern woman that she wants to be. Her mother's stuffy as fuck, and so are all her friends. But I don't believe it, by the way, that the mother would actually make it all the way to the land run and then be happy at the end too. I'm not buying that shit at all, because this woman was like, fuck that shit. But whatever. Women also were subjugated, and even in high class society, they kind of had to, they could be fucked with, and I get that. But it's just, Travis, you're right. A lot of it looks great there, and they get things right about historical items, but it's just the heart of this movie and the desire to be dedicated or interested in the story as a viewer. I was just like, I can't believe I didn't fast forward this movie at all. I can't believe that. I mean, by the time they get to they're out in the cold for 3 nights, it's getting so drawn out. Like, oh my God, are they going to die?
Dude,
fuck no, they're not going to die.
The second that Joseph says, it's an abandoned house, like, oh, they're going to fuck. So that's the perfect time to hit the fast forward button, because it lasts like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
well, it's also it's a pretty integral scene, though. I mean, they finally seal. They have to pretend that they're in love and they finally kiss. So like their romantic connection comes to a head in that scene, and then she gets shot, and they get separated. So I do think it's a pretty important scene.
I'm sorry. I would be laughing at this relationship and this will they, won't they, if none of it felt honest. But like, I think the script by Ron Howard and this other dude that mostly wrote comedy with SCTV,
Bob Dolman,
does a good job with making it seem honest.
Willow.
It's an original script. Willow. I thought it was based on a book. I was convinced. I'm like, what novel is this based on?
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah, the guy who wrote Willow and Ron Howard.
Willow, good.
Yep.
Kaya.
and
brownies.
And
Kaya the baby.
And I 100% feel like it was Bob Dolman who was like, let's have him die and come back. It'll be mystical.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we talk about these opening credits? Would you have been surprised if a fucking leprechaun just danced by during these bright green, they got to be green credits? So we know it's just in case we think it might be Scotland. No, this is fucking Ireland.
Yeah, we get an Irish narrator like voiceover come in, and then the like not the first person you see, but like the first like close up you get is like an Irishman in a bar drinking and singing. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
Well, the location looked beautiful though. The little house where it gets burned up by Greg from Dharma and Greg. Yeah, it looks beautiful. They're carrying the coffin out. That's gorgeous cinematography, gorgeous location. I love real life locations like that in movies. You know, we don't always get as much of that all the time anymore.
This guy, damn it, man, I wrote his name down. Fuck me. This was his last credit as a cinematographer.
Cusack? No. Oh, a cinematographer. Oh, okay. Sorry.
This was his last credit. He's done TV. He's still kicking. He's done TV since 1992. This movie is fucking gorgeous, and there's no digital bullshit like extras or any of that. It's every scene is fucking fantastic. It looks so beautiful. I mean, you could watch this with on mute, and you won't laugh at any of the ridiculous dialogue. And this is a beautiful. One of these critics is like, it's trying to be David Lean. It's trying to be John Ford. It just is. It looks just like one of those fucking great epics. I think these critics need to calm down here.
Wow.
I think there was probably
Michael Solomon, by the way, is the name of the cinematographer.
Fantastic.
I don't think that people were quite ready to take Tom Cruise seriously as an actor. Yeah. This is one of those early roles where he really was acting. As we are used to it now as him being like a legit actor. But in 1992, what other kind of like serious stuff?
Rain Man was 4 years before this, though.
Yeah, I mean, Rain Man, absolutely. That was the big one that changed his career. Name another one before this.
Well, then he did Cocktail. Then he did Days of Thunder.
Right. These are not serious movies.
I love Cocktail personally.
That's fine. You're allowed to have bad opinions, but I'm just saying that it wasn't
I got the novel too. Dude, I got the original novel. You want to read it? I'll give it to you.
I heard.
But Eric Allen gave it to me as a present a couple years ago. It was hilarious.
But you're right. He was still a strictly pop and popcorn star. So audiences were like, "What the fuck is this?"
And it wasn't just him either. It's him and his wife. Yeah. So they probably were like, there was probably a lot of people like, oh, he didn't earn this role. She didn't earn this role.
But that's why I'm saying if this is Liam Neeson, no one's laughing, period.
But they're both strong actors, and we know that now. These are both incredibly, two of the better actors of their generation.
Yeah.
Well, Kidman is for sure. Whatever. I know Cruise is not a bad actor. His
one of the greatest actors of his generation. His personal life is a separate thing.
I disagree. You can have that opinion, but I disagree. I can't just ignore his Scientology bullshit.
Well, yeah, but you're the one that's always about cancel culture and how wrong it is and stuff. I don't know.
No, that's not, I don't think it's wrong. You always see. I bring it up to analyze it, but I don't have a direct opinion on it. I just think that you think about the end of the decade, right? Cruise and Kidman, again, they close out this 90s period with fucking Eyes Wide Shut, which, as the years go by, is
masterpiece.
Yeah, it's better than it's ever. It gets better every year, I think. Now, that's my opinion too. But then at that point, they're icons. Everybody sees them as big time legit actors, right? But in Far and Away, as you guys said, it's a different time and it's still early, and that transition could make it difficult for people to see. Oh, hey, well, I know Tom Cruise for Top Gun and, Days of Thunder, I like action shit. And in the 90s, Tom Cruise tried his hardest ever, with Magnolia as well. That was where he really tried to get into parts that were about being an actor, a character actor, right? And then ever since the post-2000, he's just been a fucking action goon. That's pretty much it. It is.
True. Yeah, he didn't, I don't think he got the recognition for stuff like this, like Collateral.
Collateral's that's a good one.
Last Samurai.
Like Last Samurai, which is just fucking Shogun, it turns out, but okay. Turns out it's just heavily.
I'll have to find out.
But I think that he didn't get the the praise that I think that he was due for doing movies like this, and I think these movies a lot of them weren't taken that seriously until a little bit later, like you say, with Eyes Wide Shut. And I think that he was like, I've got this urge to throw myself off cliffs and climb buildings and all this other shit. So I might as well be an action star.
Oh, don't forget The Color of Money too. I mean, that's a serious role.
Top 5 favorite movie all time. But
I'm not saying he didn't do any. He didn't. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't do any, but he wasn't seen the way he was by the end of the 90s.
True.
But he's not phoning
what else about
it in
this
here.
bozo movie?
By any stretch of the imagination, this is 100% conviction. Even if his dialogue trainer is not doing his fucking job with his Irish brogue, the guy is fucking committed in every scene in this movie. He's not phoning in. He's not just like, all right, fuck, I know this movie's gonna be a piece of shit. Like, do I believe him as this character? Not really, because that's the elephant in the room. He's too big of a star, and that's the biggest problem with this movie. It wasn't the right time. I just don't know. Like, I believe him in The Last Samurai, kind of, but here it's just like, I cannot get over it. I just wish they would have went with somebody like Aidan Quinn or Liam Neeson, because I'm just not. It's just so studio.
Aidan Quinn he would have fucking killed that role. But you're right. Yeah. He's a little pretty and a little small to be like a bare knuckle boxer, and all that kind of stuff. Like,
well, there's weight classes exist, right? That's why that matters in this movie. I mean, it's not like a professional setup, so who gives a fuck? I guess. But,
none of that shit existed then. I don't think.
Yeah, but the fight he loses in the big showdown, it's just so that part's like, okay, I see this coming. He's very proud and he can't get away from his roots. So
I'm sorry, man. Every critic, and I fuck it, I like this movie. And every critic that's like, oh, this is so typical. The script is shallow. You go and watch any fucking movie that you deem a classic, like The Quiet Man or any of these John Ford movies, and they are as formulaic and predictable and shallow as anything under the sun, period, bar none. This is a cynical thing. This is a cynical critic thing in the early 90s, in my opinion. Early
90s only? I don't think so, but okay. I see your point.
I think nowadays this would be appreciated.
For me personally, as a person watching it, and then I'm supposed to look at it from a critical lens, supposedly, when his stubbornness, it's a classic tale. So there are cliches that are classic tales, and that's just part of being a human being. So does that mean the movie should be punished for it? No. Yeah, maybe you're right about that. I do see what you're saying. He just was very clear that he wasn't going to change his ways, and he stood up to boss. Or Ward Boss, whatever the fuck his name was, and then Bork, he didn't like Bork, and then Bork wants to fuck his woman, of course, so he's going to get pissed. He's going to blow the big fight when he can have a life-changing money that he's worked so hard to get. I'm talking about character motivations here a little bit, Eric, not so much formulaic. Maybe I got that wrong. Just character motivations, that's all. The bottom line was land. The whole movie is about his father passing down this legacy of land. That land is where a man's soul is, God damn it, right?
Yeah, well, that was the belief for most of the human experience as far as modern history goes.
Yeah, now we can't even own a house, but that's a different story. So.
Things have changed. I'm a renter.
Well,
me too.
Put yourself in this guy's shoes. I mean, I'm watching this land race at the end, and like one part of me is like 900 horses. 800 carriages, this is fucking beautiful. And then the other part of me is like, I wish a fucking Cherokee Indian would just kill them all right now and then the credits would roll. So I'm conflicted here, but I got to put myself in 1893. I got to put myself in 1992. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, anything else here? Anything we haven't covered on this film?
I like John Williams' score. This is before that he just like kept playing the same. He just kept phoning it in. This is one of the last great John Williams scores, in my opinion. There's no like big like motifs here that are memorable. It all adds to the story. I love this score.
Next year, just for the record, was Schindler's List and Jurassic Park. It's towards the end.
Even though I don't like the score for Schindler's List, it's cheesy.
Get the fuck out of here! Oh wow,
it's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah, Isak Perlman and it's terrible.
You shouldn't have any score for that. I don't know. I like the score.
We have not one but two strong scenes, well shot of Tom Cruise running.
Yeah.
Just sprinting. Just with a sprint.
Really thrusting. Yeah.
Yep. Classic. If you're doing a montage of Tom Cruise running, don't forget Far and Away.
I don't know.
Noted.
Like, you guys both saw this before?
No,
I never saw it before.
Is this what you remember, Travis?
I remembered nothing but the end. And I didn't remember. I remember nothing but like the land run. That was like pretty much all that stuck up my mind. And I remember like a little bit about them being in the brothel. Like I just remember like,
Michelle Johnson. Oh my God.
Who? What?
Yeah, Grace.
Yeah.
Oh,
the brunette.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did she do laundry in the movie? I don't know if those people did laundry back then. Actually, we literally did have Nicole Kidman doing laundry. Whee! This is how you scrub. And then by the end of the movie, she teaches her own mother how to do it right. Full circle. Anything else?
No.
America is where class goes to evaporate, right? There's no class in America.
Yeah, those fuckers over there on the Emerald Isle, they got their own problems. But here in America, we figured it out. The caste system in India, they're fools. Here in America, we're good to go.
Just merit.
Always and forever, the merit system. Patronage never existed. All right. Well, I picked it. I got to go
lock
first,
up
right?
your spoons, too.
Why doesn't my thumb do that? Your thumb did the thing. My thumb doesn't do that thing.
Oh, I don't.
When you gave a thumbs up, like a cartoony. Yep, see?
Whoa.
Mine doesn't do that.
That's some
augmented
bullshit.
reality. Great. Anyway, so all right. Far and Away.
Those of you
is a
watching,
film.
anyways, sorry.
Yes, right. If you've seen the YouTube version, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Far and Away is a YouTube movie. No, well, it is on. No, it's not. You'd have to pay for it because all three of us paid for it on Amazon. But I never saw it. Nicole Kidman has become a legendary actress. No argument here. But in this movie, I thought she was pretty shitty. I really did. It's not her best effort. It just isn't. And I love her. I'm a big fan of her. You know how many times I've seen that Eyes Wide Shut scene where it slowly pans up from her legs to her top? Woo! That is a beautiful woman who also happened to be one of the best actresses of her time. So, you can't win them all. And Tom Cruise, he did his best here. Ron Howard, this is after Backdraft, right? Which we did on the show.
Yep.
So he comes off Backdraft, and then he goes right into Far and Away. It's impressive that he can put this all together. I think he should have a legacy as one of the finest directors of his time when it comes to practical effects. Like Backdraft, we all know how hardcore that was. And also set pieces and costume design and all that shit. So Ron Howard is a guy I like. It's definitely not my favorite Ron Howard movie. Historical accuracy at times, but a bore to watch between these two. I didn't see the chemistry between Cruise and Kidman at all. It didn't work for me. In fact, I thought Cruise had more chemistry with the brunette hooker. I was this will work out just fine, but that didn't happen. So for me, I never saw it. Probably won't watch it again. Doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, dude? I remember the trailers. He's on a horse. It's Irish. Skip it. I mean, this is a skip it movie in the early 90s, easily. Even if you're a fan of all parties involved, it's skip it. Who cares? I think this movie deserves another look. I think it's got interesting things to say that are dated, especially with the complete dismissal of the Indian War and like the Jawa-esque Native Americans that are just watching the race at the end, like, oh shit. But for what it is, I mean, I dug the movie. I thought Mike, I'm sorry. I thought the chemistry was fucking fantastic between the two. I mean, the shared looks is all I needed, and that's not easy. I'm sorry. Production design and cinematography alone, I don't care how bad the story is or the performance is, that alone is going to make me be like, this is why I love movies, to see 800 actual carriages and horses foraging across the open fields of what turns out to be Montana. That is beautiful. That is cinema. That's what I turn on a movie for, and it's fantastic. And I don't think that the story is dishonest at all. It's cheesy? Sure. It's outdated? Sure. But I don't know. I was feeling it. I dig the film, man. I think if you laughed at it in 92, check it out. But if you already seen it, just kind of have fond memories if you have them. It held up for me.
Yeah, I will say quickly, maybe I saw this movie in the theater. It might be different. I don't know. But
So I'd like to say that I did rent this from Amazon, but I didn't pay the extra $1 to watch it in HD. I went ahead and went with SD. I'm like, fuck it.
I thought thought that over thoroughly too. I'm like, shit, who gives a fuck? Yeah,
no choice.
It didn't matter at all. At no point was I like, well, that looks grainy and shitty. Yeah, I agree. We probably should have talked more about Ron Howard's firm hand here. He definitely he is an underrated director for someone that has just put out like many movies that are cultural classics. I don't think he gets quite the attention he deserves. He gets recognized for making these crowd pleasing films, but when they don't necessarily please the crowd, those films tend to get kind of forgotten of his, such as this one. You don't really hear people talk about this movie. And it is a flawed movie. You make this movie today, you're not going to just sugarcoat the Oklahoma land run. You're going to have maybe a character or characters that are themselves Cherokee and stuff. It'd be a very different film today. It would not be as celebratory. And yeah, it's awfully clean and studio ready and Hollywood looking. And there's a lot of things that, it's not a perfect movie. It's a 1992 movie. I too like Kidman. I too think that Kidman I don't think she was great in a lot of her earlier films, to be honest. There's a lot of her early stuff that I just thought, like, why does this woman keep working? And then she got good. Or at least I started to like her stuff anyways. But am I going to watch this movie over and over again? No, I'm not going to rush back to watch it anytime soon. Would I have watched it again despite not really remembering watching it back in 92 or 93? Probably not. So I'm glad that Mike picked it because I got to say I think it held up. I didn't love it, but I'm going to say it holds up.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What the hell? This is hilarious. It's just hilarious to me because I'm the one who picked it and never saw it, and I shit on it. Quick points. What's interesting is you said if this movie's made today, Travis, we just had Killers of the Flower Moon, which was about Oklahoma, and which is an interesting. So it would be really cool to kind of have tell a story of that period in the late 1800s into the early 1900s where Killers of the Flower Moon takes place. So, and then
Travis nailed it. It wouldn't be celebrated. That says it all.
That's true. Well, it wouldn't be celebrated, but there could have been some adjustments made to make the story more compelling. Bottom line, too, is that Nicole Kidman, you're right, Travis. When did she change? When was I like, you know what? Oh, I know what it was.
The Hours.
I Love Her and To Die For, the movie that we did here. I did. That was like, oh, shit. Okay.
95.
This is, that a couple years later, diabolical, sexy, fucking conniving. Really good. And that's where it turned for me, I think.
Yeah, that's where it turned for me, too. Yeah, that was when she really started to hit the road. The rubber hit the road, if you will.
I've heard that, yeah. Eat my rubber. All right, Travis, we're going back to you. Top of the board here as we close out May into June of 2024.
Fellas, I look back over the movies that we've chosen over the last year or so, and I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. As a horror fan, to look back and see that the last horror movie we did was half a year ago. It was a comedy horror holiday movie that a guest chose. We have not done a proper horror movie in a long fucking time, so we're due. And I've also, after choosing The Professional, my last pick, I think that moving forward, for me at least, I do think I'm going to try and choose more movies that are expected to be good, because maybe that was kind of the original premise of the show, is like, are we taking it for granted that this stuff holds up? So I want to go back and revisit a movie that I've long said is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, but I probably haven't watched it in 10 years or so at least. I'm going to go back to 2005, Neil Marshall's The Descent.
Oh my God. Yes!
Rosario Dawson?
No.
Nope.
Two Descents. Two Descents then.
Neil Marshall.
Yeah, I don't know I know The Descent 2, which I never watched. I don't know if another Descent.
The Descent came out in 2005, and then 2 years later, the movie Descent came out. So that's what I mixed it up. That's Rosario Dawson.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one yet. So we're going with
time frame.
The Descent from Neil Marshall in 2005.
The Descent.
I think
it's funny.
It's streaming somewhere currently.
Streaming somewhere.
You don't have to pay for it.
I was actually thinking of that. You don't have to pay for it? Fuck.
I mean, you don't have to rent it. Like, you don't have to make that dollar choice between SD and HD.
Hey, it's okay. I mean, I apologize. We all make mistakes, and it's okay. I'm excited about this, actually.
I apologize.
I was thinking of a horror movie yesterday while I was taking a piss at work, and I'm like, wow, maybe I'll depict that one. I'm not kidding. So it's interesting that you have gone with a horror film. I've not seen it, and I look forward to watching The Descent, not Descent. starring Shauna McDonald and Natalie Mendoza, as far as IMDb just told me off the top. But I don't see the rating yet. I always hide it. I always block it out. I put my hand up, and I will not let them spoil me. Cool. All right, well, the Cinema Pod, thanks you all. CinemaNightPod@gmail.com. Travis, Eric, Michael, and we will now head to bed. Good night, everyone.
Anybody? Land.
Irish. You get stabbed in the thigh like that, the femoral artery is very much at risk.
She broke my heart, or something about a woman fucked me over.
Scrub.
Song no one cares.